Hello, and let me show you how to teach ChatGPT model the specific domain knowledge about your company so it can answer any questions that only you and your company knows about, for example, your product or your any other company details. So let's take, for example, our BOTX cloud platform. If we ask ChatGPT, let's say, when was the BOTX cloud platform founded, it will answer that it simply doesn't have the information about the platform because the GPT model is trained on the general and public data. So of course, it doesn't know any specific details about our BOTX cloud. However, let's say that you have some database, like for example this one. Let's say that you have Excel or really any other data format that contains questions and answer, or really any other text documents about your company that only you and only your company knows, that concern your company details. So let me show you how you can use this, and using our no-code platform without any programming, how you can train your GPT model to just be able to answer and learn from these questions and answers the specifics about your company. So let me start by going to botx.cloud, and let's just sign into my account. Okay, this is my testing account. So the first thing that I will need to do is to simply take this Excel file and just import it into our data studio here. Since I don't want to create a new system, I will just use my existing test system here. But if you will be new to BOTX, you will first have to go here and create a new system and just go through this step by step. It's very simple process, it's very straightforward, but I simply don't want to create the additional system since I already have this one here. And when you have your system created, you simply need to set up the model. So let's click here, set up model, and let's just create a new table. And as you can see, I have a bunch of testing tables here. I have already some testing tables for previous demos for the GPT, but I will create a new one. And let's just call it, let's just create our specific company know-how database. Okay, that's a pretty long name, but let's just go with it. And just click a few times next and then just finish. Okay, this was pretty quick. Now we have our new table here. As you can see, it has been added here. So I will just now set up the structure of this table. And let's click the button here, which is the structure editor. And if you look into our data, it simply contains only two columns, the question and the answer. So I will just set up that. I will create two fields. I will call them question and the answer. Okay, that's it. Theoretically, you could have more, but that we will show you later how to deal with that. Let's just save it now. Okay, so the structure has been saved. Now let's go back to Data Studio and let's go enter system here. And as you can see, I have all my tables here, and our specific company know-how database is here. And we can see that we have question and answer column here. just like we set up earlier. So let's now just go to import CSV, and I will import this test QA CSV file, which is this one that I just showed. So I will just open it. Okay, open. And it will automatically detect that this Excel has question and answer column. And all I need to do here is just say, okay, the value from the question goes to, well, question, and from answer goes to answer column. That's it. I will now just click the import. And since it's just 20 records, the import it's very quick. And we can, however, see that we have all the data here. And one of the things that maybe you can notice here is the question, when was the BOTX founded? And the BOTX was founded in June 2019. So we will test this later, and we will see if and how it learned actually. Because by default it simply doesn't have the knowledge about this. So let's go here, and we have data imported. That's perfect. So let's just create a new intelligent agent. Go to cognitive diagrams here on the main screen, and let's just create a new one. I have already created a bunch of GPT buddy agents here. So let me just create the next one. Let's call it GPT buddy 3. And here just click the finish button. The bot has been created, and we can go straight to setup process here if you click. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to design our agent. This is a very simple process. If you will go to Hypergraph Editor, let me just put on the canvas all the nodes that we will need for this project first. And it's basically input data. This is always a must, or usually it is a must, because of course every robot needs to react for some input. The next thing we will do is we will make this conversion from JSON format, because we want our GPT buddy to be completely API friendly, and so it can be integrated into any of your system or chatbots on your web page and so on. And of course on HTTP, on the internet, the JSON protocol, it's probably the most popular one. So we will just utilize this. Next, we will go to GPT menu and click OpenAI GPT API, this one. This will be the heart of the agent. And let's just continue by creating convert back to JSON. Since we are converting from JSON, so GPT will understand what needs to be answered. And we want to just throw it back to original JSON format. So we will utilize this one. And the last one that we will create is the output data. And I will now just connect everything together. So this goes here. It goes to input of OpenAI. OpenAI output will go basically out of the agent here. Here in the output data, we need only make a little setup. Here we need to just say that the output will be whatever the output comes from the OpenAI node. Okay, so before I will train the GPT on our imported data, I want to just try and test this GPT just on its own. So we will see the difference. And so let's go and set up the OpenAI GPT API node here. The first thing that we will need to do is to simply set the authentication API key. This is something that you can just easily get on your OpenAI account here in the /account/API keys. You will just click a few buttons and you can easily get the API token. So I will just paste here mine. Next thing that we need to do is we need to set up a model. So let's just go with GPT 3.5 Turbo, but you can also choose other ones. The Text DaVinci 003 was pretty popular, but let's just go with the newer one here. The training data, as I said, we will just first do it without training data, just so we can see the difference between trained model and not trained model. So I will just leave this blank here. The next thing that we need to do is we need to set up our prompt. So this is, in this case, we will just use a variable. Let's call it a question. And this will be the name of the property in the JSON format for the API calls. We will just show this later. It's easy. And that's it for now. So let's just close this, save our diagram here, and let's go to robot details and switch on our bot. Okay, so our body is switched on, and let's just go now and let's go straight to debug tab here, and let's try it. So as I said, the input is in the JSON format, so we need to just set this typical JSON notation. And like we set up earlier, the name of the object property will be question. So I will just, let's call it question here. And what will be the question? So let's just say, when was the BOTX cloud platform founded? And let's try to send the request. Okay, and we have the answer. And we can see that in this case, the answer is, it doesn't have current information. The BOTX cloud platform was launched in 2018. This is not entirely correct. So let's just now try to train the bot for what we imported earlier. So let's go back to Hypergraph editor and let's add a new input node called input DCS here. I will just put it here, and let's first open the settings of the node here. And you will most likely not see this checkbox. This is just my testing account, but let's choose our test system. And let's choose our specific company know-how database, which we set up earlier. So both the question and answer will be the inputs of our training data. And let's just disable the cache because we don't want any cache surprises later on. So I will just close this and I will connect this data into training data of OpenAI. And let's open OpenAI settings again, and let's go to the training. So what kind of data do we have? Well, we have two options. We can either have questions and answer, like we have here, or if we don't have questions and answer, let's say we just have a bunch of, I don't know, thousands of documents and or even PDF files, for example, then you would choose text documents. But we have questions and answers, so let's just use that. The embedding model. This one should be, let's choose the text embedding ADA002, this one. And the last thing we will need to do here is to set up the question. So the question is in the question column, save it. and the answer is in the answer column. This will just tell GPT model where exactly is the question, and because we gave it the same name, it's just question and answer, just like the name of the entities which are required. We also have option to add here additional context. That would be, for example, if you would have a third column in your data. Let's say sometimes in you have like long description or short description of your products. So you could have both basically, and using the additional context, you can just give it more data. So that's all here, and let's just go to advanced parameters. We have one last warning here, which tells us that if we have fine-tuned GPT model, it's better to have the temperature set to 0. So let's just do that here. Let's set this to 0. Okay. Now the warning is gone. And that's it. Let's close this, save the diagram. And before we train the node, we just remember, because we changed the design of the agent, we first have to go to robot details page and just restart the bot. This is important step because the bot simply needs to take all these new designs into its memory, so to speak. So that's why we need to restart first. Okay, this is done. And let's go back to Hypergraph. And now let's just click the training here, the start training. So now all the data is being basically fetched into OpenAI, and the model is being trained. So let's give it a few seconds. It should be very quick. Okay, the training has been done. Just to double check, you can click this little icon here, which contains the log file from the training. We can see that OpenAI training started. It fetched 20 records, which is correct. This file really has 20 records. And it did this computing, and it's just all done. So we can close this. This all looks perfect. And now we can basically just go and we can test our bot. So let's do this again. Let's go to debug, and let's just go like we did earlier. It was named question, and the question will be, when was the BOTX cloud platform founded? So let's just see what the answer will be. Okay, we have our answer, and correctly, the BOTX platform was founded in June 2019. So this is great. We can see that it was really we have our data here really says that it was in June 2019. So it was able to learn on the data that we just supplied it with. We can also try one also pretty useful feature. If we open OpenAI again, here in the setup prompt, we can check the try to prevent hallucinations. This is if you want your bot to not be able to just answer any kind of nonsense. You really want to try to achieve very specific answers, and if it doesn't know the answer about your product or company, it's just better to say sorry, I don't know, than just check this button here, and it will try to do so. Let's close this, save our diagram again, and let's restart our bot. Okay, and let's go to debug so we can test how it looks like. So the question will be, when was the BOTX founded? Okay. And we can see the answer is correct. The BOTX was founded in 2019. But we can continue. Let's say that we have some other things in our data. Let's say just what is the BOTX platform, or yeah, let's just try this one. And let's also ask, and what is it? Okay, so the BOTX was founded in June 2019, which is perfect, and it just continues with all the things that we have in our Excel file. So this is it. You can then easily integrate this agent into any of your product or process. The cognitive diagram can be easily called using API. You can just go to docs.botx.cloud, and here, after authentication, which is very easy, you can just see how to execute cognitive diagrams. But it's pretty straightforward process. Okay, so that's it for this video tutorial. I hope it helps you, and let's see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.